It's time to sit back, relax, and listen to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life will inspire, motivate, and empower you. Live your best life now. Listen, learn, think, and decide. Change your attitude, change your life. And now, here's your host, Joan Herman.
Welcome to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. You're listening to us in your neighborhood from coast to coast and around the world. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Joan Herman, author, speaker, and your host. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life brings you interviews with some of the most inspirational and influential people in the world. It's our goal to educate and empower you so you can live your best life now. Thank you for taking time for yourself, and thank you for letting us be a part of your life. We have another great show for you today. Joining me is healthy living and yoga expert Tara Stiles, who is here to discuss easy and fun ways to bring yoga, meditation, and healthy food into your life. Tara is the designer and face of Reebok's first yoga lifestyle line and is the author of Yoga Cures and Slim, Calm, Sexy Yoga. Welcome, Tara. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Tara, when it comes to exercise, the philosophy tends to be no pain, no gain. But you say no pain, much gain. Why do you believe the opposite to be true?
Sure. Well, it's always been a neat approach for me to sort of look at nature and Eastern thought, and classical dance is sort of my background growing up in the middle of the country and doing dance and learning Tai Chi. And I really saw a lot of people gain a tremendous amount of strength and focus physically and clarity mentally by doing all kinds of hard things in a very easygoing, soft way. And I really thought this was, sort of very natural and easy and intuitive for me. And, I only really learned about this no pain, no gain idea from, the media and more fitness trends now. And it seems to, be one approach that you may be able to get some results, but you're also sort of getting a lot of stress in the body and the mind, which, as we all know, doesn't do such great things for our health and for our state of being. So this very sort of easygoing approach while you're doing more complex and challenging movements in the body is it just makes so much sense, I think, not just to me, but to, people that have been doing, more Eastern kind of movements for thousands of years.
And we're going to talk more about that later, because I think that so many people feel they're not going to get the benefits, and we're going to talk about that in greater detail. You say when people understand what they need for true well-being, that they can make their own rules, and that these rules will help them become their best selves. Tara, what types of rules do you mean, and how do we know what's right for us?
Sure. Well, I think a good practice to come to this conclusion that you really can make your own rules and create your own structure that works for you in your life is doing the things that keep you feeling intuitive and connected and strong and capable. And for me and for lots of people that I've met over the years, and I've been able to be around in classes and workshops and just have conversations with, those tools are very soft, easygoing approach to yoga and fitness, and an easygoing daily practice of meditation and reflection, and just the practice of getting excited about eating, getting excited about preparing your own food. So I think through the process of exploration of yourself physically and emotionally, and then your exploration of what kind of foods do you like, what kind of foods work for you, how do you feel when you eat these things, and just the actual process of cooking and preparing and making that very much a part of life and fun and simple and easy and more about, family and community and friends is something that I think is very natural that, we often just lose touch of over the years, and we go to these external rules and these external diets to sort of show us the way. And I think one of the reasons why they never work is because it may be the way for the one person who came up with the diet or the one person who wrote the book, that it was their rule that did work for them for a period of time. But again, these rules are very tricky when we start to place them upon the masses and place other people's rules upon ourselves. It's just, everybody is so unique, and really just the practice of becoming more intuitive and more sensitized drives us directly toward the ability to make our own rules.
Tara, what got you into yoga? How did you get started?
Well, I was always sort of interested in the idea of connection and expansion and meditation when I was a little kid. I was very lucky to get to grow up in the woods in sort of the middle of nowhere in the Midwest. And I'd literally go out to the woods when I was a small kid and sit in trees and connect with nature. And I sort of taught myself how to meditate and felt very good and energized and connected and intuitive and sensitized by just being in nature and by, closing my eyes and breathing. And I had all these pretty exciting experiences and realizations that, we're all here to help, and I just want to connect with everybody and expand and feel good and inspired. And this was sort of the meaning of life for me when I was a little kid. And I grew up doing classical dance as well. And sort of my teenage years, we had a yoga instructor that my ballet teacher brought into the program. His name's Rory Foster. He was a professional ballet dancer with American Ballet Theater and got into yoga in the 70s in New York. And saw that would be a really good benefit for us young dancers, and brought in this instructor. And for me, that was, sort of the first time I took a more formalized group practice class. And I just thought this was, the greatest thing in the world. And I wondered why everybody didn't already do it.
Well, so Tara, for someone who's new to yoga, or for someone who has a preconceived notion of the things we're talking about, and they don't see this as exercise because they believe exercise is, like we said, you need to be running or biking or dancing or really sweating. So how can you explain to someone what the benefits of yoga are? It is an exercise. What can they gain, and why should they be looking at it as a viable option for their health?
Sure. Well, I think, yoga is something that, especially now in our 2014-15 age, is very diverse with a lot of different offerings. So people are right to think it's all kinds of things. You can find classes where you're literally just sitting and breathing for an hour, which isn't a lot of physical exercise. And then you can find classes where, it even goes to the opposite end of the spectrum of this no pain, no gain approach of, 15, chaturangas and really kind of push yourself to the edge. But there is this really big, I think renaissance happening in the yoga scene, not just with what I'm doing with Strala, but in the broader spectrum of this area of a moving flow class where you're getting into your entire body, you're becoming sensitized. All the instructors are really, interested in bringing you back into your own experience, your own self. Fitness is seen as something in yoga these days that's not as superficial, I think, as it used to be in the past. I think yoga used to be more about, I'm not my body, I'm my mind, I'm my spirit. So the body is just something to sort of carry me around in. And I think, the more message now that's mainstream of, everything all together, all at once, body, mind, and spirit. And, so the body is a lot more respected as, a home for our minds and our spirits. So I think, a lot more classes are, going toward that approach of really self-care and, getting the entire body moving. You're using your own body to lift yourself. It's challenging to hold a plank pose for 2 minutes. It's what we do in our classes. Challenging to explore how it feels good for you to move when you're rocking forward and back into a handstand or staying in a warrior two for 5 long deep breaths. So these are very, physically challenging things that, obviously build muscle tone, build strength, but and build circulation and all of the, physiological benefits that go along with yoga besides the physical benefits of body awareness and strength and flexibility. You're also getting all of these emotional and brain benefits of being able to focus better and improved concentration and improved creativity. Any sort of meditative movement where you're using your body, but you're also calming your mind really stimulates. There's all this cool brain science that, my friends Deepak Chopra and Rudy Tanzi always talk about, the insula area of the brain where the yogis used to, mystically call the third eye, is actually a part of the brain that's responsible for your creativity and your intuition. And that area of the brain gets exercised like a muscle when you practice yoga in a calm, easygoing way. It doesn't necessarily work when you practice yoga in a way where your brain is saying no pain, no gain, or your instructor is sort of, drilling that into your head and you're more stressed out. It's a great time for yoga. I mean, there's a lot of variety and there's a lot of, opportunities for people to walk into a class and try it out. And if that class isn't the right one for them, to, go next door and see what's there. It's sort of on every corner these days.
Tara, you just mentioned Deepak Chopra, and I read in an interview where you stated that Deepak advised to check in before you eat. What does this mean?
Sure. Well, I think it's a great simple tool that anybody can do, and we did this a DVD project together, and he led this meditation on body awareness, and it was focused on weight management. And he just put his hand over his belly and leading this meditation and just said, follow how you feel. I think it really gives people this chance to identify with their emotional state before they're participating in a meal, or before they're starting to cook, or before, or a mindless snack or something like that. Food is so emotional for all of us. It's a fuel, but it's also a celebration. It can be, a stress relief for a lot of people. I think, it's very interesting to shift the conversation away from, what are we eating and what should we eat, to why aren't we eating the things that we already know are good for us. So I think, he has these very profound and simple approaches to boil down things that are very useful for a lot of people. And I think just, putting a hand on your belly, taking a couple of deep breaths, and, asking yourself how you feel is a very simple thing that anybody can do right before a meal. And then how you feel, which is great.
Tara, in your opinion, what should our daily menu look like?
I think it should be, different for everybody depending on what you do with your life. I think if you're very active, it looks very different than if you're not as active. I think eating as close to nature is very reasonable. I think for a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people are going to argue with diets like that too. I think, lots of fruits and vegetables, clean foods, whole foods, whole grains like quinoa and mung beans and things like that, I think are great. But also, lots of veggies, lots of dark greens and fruits, and drinking lots of water, I think is a great start for people. And I think staying away from things that already come in boxes and packages and anything you can get in a drive-thru, obviously not good. But, I think just, if there's not a label on it, then it's good. And again, I think I feel a little silly, oftentimes like giving people so much, advice on what to eat, because it's really amazing that we all really do know intuitively what we should be eating. But I think it's, when we start to feel better, I was just having a conversation with my brother. He was trying to get healthier, and, he started to get into it. And then he's like, wow, that's all I want to do is, look for things to cook all day and, find different foods and explore different options. And I'm really not buying chips and soda and all that kind of candy stuff anymore. He's like, I don't even want it anymore. So people are naturally more going toward those kinds of things once you start doing the practices, or once you sort of get out of a negative cycle of destruction and get on a good path of, just self-care and self-awareness.
Tara, very quickly before we run out of time, what advice would you offer to someone who wants to begin a more healthy lifestyle and is contemplating trying yoga? What would you advise that person do to get started?
Sure. I mean, that's sort of one of the main reasons I started putting things out that I've been putting out for a long time. And I started making videos on YouTube because I wanted my friends and family back home to, be able to try yoga if there wasn't a studio, or to be able to try something that felt good for them and have a lot of different options. So I have 500-600 videos on YouTube, and probably another 500 on other channels that I've done. And if you don't like my videos, there's a million other yoga videos now too. But I think, the internet is a great option for information and also just routines that you can practice with, and just going from there. And I also have a lot of really simple, healthy cooking videos on the channel as well that are just, really easy. I'm really big on recipes that are cost effective and simple to make and take 5-10 minutes, but also taste really good. Using the internet as a resource, I think, is a great way to start.
Tara, thank you so much for joining us today and for teaching us about the health benefits of yoga and the importance of a healthy lifestyle. If you'd like to get more information, you can visit her website, tarastiles.com. That's TARASTILES.com. Again, Tara, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back. Hi, this is Joan Herman, host of Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Did you know that Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life has a free monthly digital magazine that can be read online or emailed to your inbox? Every month, nationally recognized leaders in their field provide information to educate, inspire, and motivate you. We believe in a holistic approach to life, incorporating mind, body, and spirit. Check out a copy of Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life 24/7. Visit cyacyl.com and be sure to tell your friends. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you found the show informative. At Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life, we believe that knowledge is power. Take what you've learned, apply it, and live your best life now. Remember that the information provided are the opinions of our guests and should never replace the advice of a professional who knows your personal situation. If you'd like more information, visit our website, cyacyl.com. That stands for Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. While on the site, listen to past shows on demand, read the digital magazine, take part in the book club, and be sure to follow the show on Facebook and Twitter. Until next time, this is Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in.